Board of Supervisors County of Essex to order, and we've already had to pledge the flag this morning, so we'll go through roll call, please.
Mr. Morrow has been excused. Mr. Harrington?
Here.
Mr. Maryhill?
Here.
Mr. Gardner is excused. Mr. Depot?
Here.
Mr. Wilson is excused. Mr. Monty?
Here.
Mr. McNally?
Here.
Mr. Skazavava?
Here.
Mr. Miga?
Yes.
Mr. Pleady is excused. Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Marnell?
Here.
Mr. Whitson?
Here.
Mr. Giordano?
Here.
Mr. Tyler is excused. Mr. Gorland?
Here.
And Mr. Preston is excused. Thank you.
Could you read the call of the meeting, please?
Dear ladies and gentlemen, upon the direction of Sean Gorland, Vice Chairman, you are hereby notified that pursuant to and in accordance with Section 151 of the County Law, a special board meeting of the Essex County Board of Supervisors will be held at Elizabethtown, New York, at the Essex County Board of Supervisors Chambers on Monday, April 10th, 2017 at 11 a.m. for the purpose of, number 1, authorizing the settlement of an action entitled Bass Hatfield Construction, LLC against County of Essex, a.k.a. Essex County, venued in the Supreme Court, Essex County, New York, bearing index number CV16-04110, for the total amount of $205,000. Number 2, introducing proposed local law number 2 of 2017, continuing the imposition of a hotel-motel occupancy tax. And number 3 is the evaluation of the environmental impact associated with the construction of the new nutrition building, and the determination and completion of the CEQA proceedings associated with therewithin, including, but not limited to, determination of a negative or positive declaration. Thank you for your consideration in this matter. Sincerely, Judith A. Garrison, Clerk of the Board, and it was dated April 6, 2017.
Thank you very much.
Sorry about that.
There are no guests, and so we will go directly into the resolutions for the special board meeting.
So the first resolution, number 99, authorizing the settlement of an action entitled Bass Hatfield Construction, LLC against County of Essex, a.k.a. Essex County, venued in the Supreme Court, Essex County, New York, bearing index number CV16-0410, for the total amount of $205,000, which funds are to come from the unappropriated fund balance.
Motion by Mr. Moore, seconded by Mr. Marnell. Mr. Skazavava?
Yes. Mr. Manning, could you just give for the public, because most of this has been discussed behind closed executive sessions, so sure, just a brief summary of what we're doing here and so on.
Sure.
Thank you.
We contracted with Bass Hatfield for the construction of a bridge in Osable Forks. There were problems. They alleged and sued us for what they termed change orders, which were never approved by us, in the principal sum of, I think, about $605,000. We evaluated those with the help of Jim and Carl Schroeder, and the majority of those change orders were not, we did not deem those to be appropriate, but there were some of the change orders which, because of certain conditions and because of different unexpected things that arose, we were responsible for. And that's why we're at $205,000. So basically, we were sued for $605,000. You gave me, or I took it upon myself to negotiate down this amount, and this $205,000 represents, basically meets the threshold where we were at, in which Carl and Jim felt that we should pay, plus a little bit more. So I think it's a very fair settlement, and it's very beneficial to us rather than having to go to court over $605,000. Additionally, when we look at lawsuits, although, in a perfect world, you shouldn't have to do this, but there's practicalities involved. Those practicalities are defending the lawsuit, the length of time a lawsuit would have taken, discovery, the whole 9 yards. This lawsuit, had it continued, probably would have lasted another 2 to 3 years before we even, got a resolution. So I feel it's a fair resolution, and I wouldn't recommend it because I wasn't too fond of these guys and the way they kind of tried to play the game. I would recommend that we settle for the 205.
Now, this resolution, have they agreed to this settlement?
Yes, they have.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Further discussion? Being none, roll call, please.
Mr. Morrow is excused. Mr. Harrington?
Yes.
Mr. Maryhill?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner is excused. Mr. Depot?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson is excused. Mr. Monty?
Yes.
Mr. McNally?
Yes.
Mr. Skozavala?
Yes.
Mr. Miga?
Yes.
Mr. Paliti is excused. Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Marnell?
Yes.
Mr. Whitson?
Yes.
Mr. Giordano?
Yes.
Mr. Tyler is excused. Mr. Gilliland?
Yes.
And Mr. Preston is excused. Resolution carries.
Thank you.
Resolution number 100, introducing proposed local law number 2 of 2017 entitled Essex County Room Occupancy Tax Law, continuing the imposition of a hotel motel occupancy tax.
Moved by Mr. Skozavala, second by Mr. Marnell. Discussion?
I just have a
Mr. Thanks.
Basically, this is our, you know what it is, it's our hotel motel occupancy tax. Every 3 years we have to renew it. We amended it, I think last year, but the date for renewal is coming up in July, so I wanted to get this in the pipeline so that we had it all in place, so we didn't risk not being able to collect an occupancy tax. I did make one amendment to the local law, which have been asked of me by various supervisors and by Wayne. Under the definition of operator, you'll see that's on page 3, it's F. Basically, an operator is any person operating a hotel or motel in Essex County, including but not limited to the owner, proprietor, lessee, sublessee, mortgagee in possession, licensee, or any other person otherwise operating such motel or motel. This is what I added. Where the operator performs his or her duties through a managing agent or real estate broker of any type or character other than the employee, the managing agent real estate broker shall also be deemed an operator for purposes of this local law and shall have the same duties and liabilities of his or her principal. So basically what we did is we made the operator so that throughout the law where we refer to operator, it can be either the person or the real estate broker or managing agent. Now, the next sentence is very important because, and that's for situations where the broker's acting exclusively and the owner hasn't filed any documentation, so that we have both the owner and a managing agent or real estate person both know that this has to be complied with, and one or the other's got to comply with it. This next sentence says, compliance for the provisions of this, it should say of the provisions of this local law, by either the principal or managing agent real estate broker shall be considered to be compliance by both. So real estate brokers might say, I'm not a person to do this stuff. That's fine, your owner is. But if your owner does it and you're collecting, then we're going to consider you to be an operator, and you will have to comply with the law. So that we don't have a gap here. I don't anticipate anything, but I want all real estate people to know that's what's up. So that was the only change that I made to what we've had before.
Any other discussion? Being none, roll call, please.
Mr. Morrow is excused. Mr. Harrington?
Yes.
Mr. Maryhill?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner is excused. Mr. Depot?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson is excused. Mr. Monty?
Yes.
Mr. McNally?
Yes.
Mr. Skozavala?
Yes.
Mr. Miga?
Yes.
Mr. Paliti is excused. Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Marnell?
Yes.
Mr. Whitson?
Yes.
Mr. Giordano?
Yes.
Mr. Tyler is excused. Mr. Gilliland?
Yes.
And Mr. Preston is excused. Resolution carries.
We also need to establish a public hearing date.
Okay. Excuse me.
And I suggest board meeting.
In May, okay, so it would be May 1st is our regular at 9 o'clock, or?
Sure, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Thanks, Judy.
Resolution number 101, amending Resolution number 263 of October 3rd, 2016, to provide for an increase in the total amount of money required for the construction of the new Essex County Nutrition Building to $1.5 million to be appropriated from the 2017 Essex County budget, with $100,000 to be reimbursed by the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York, and further providing for environmental compliance to make findings and determinations relative to the financing of the cost of the construction of said nutrition building.
Motion, please. Mr. Marnell, second by Mrs. Monty. Discussion. Mrs. Scottafield.
Just a comment, the difference between government and the private sector is that they can put up a brand new Dollar General for like $250,000 to $300,000. More square footage than this, and we're spending $1.5 million, but that's the prevailing wage and everything else that plays in, separate contracts and so on.
But you gotta talk apples and apples and oranges and oranges. Dollar General, how much cooking equipment are they putting in there?
No, the point I'm just trying to make, the price per square foot for, I'm not saying anything against the price, I'm saying in government, it costs you 3 to 4 times as much as you can do it in the private sector.
Oh, absolutely, prevailing wage.
That's the point I'm trying to make. And the separate contracts that you have to do on everything.
There's $600,000 of that 1.5 is fixtures, kitchen equipment, refrigerators, hoods, things of that nature, just for your knowledge. There are no other comments. I just want to go through it. As most of you know, the State Environmental Quality Review Act requires us to make environmental determinations, either a negative or positive declaration as to some of these larger projects, because the nutrition building is a large project. It involves different funding streams, and there could be potential environmental impacts. We're required to comply with seeker. Mike Mascarenhas' office originally prepared a environmental assessment form, a long-form environmental assessment form, where they go through the various environmental aspects of the project, what could occur. That's attached to a copy of this resolution. They declared themselves lead agency for seeker purposes. They sent out the necessary 30-day notice to the various other governmental entities that would have any possible connection or who could possibly be a lead agency. Those are attached to the resolution. Those agencies declined to act as lead agency, so Essex County is acting as lead agency, and that's embodied in this resolution. There's also embodied in this resolution is a determination that this is a unlisted action pursuant to seeker. There are 3 different types of actions. One is a type 1 action, and there's certain enumerated things that are type 1. Type 2 actions are generally don't require any real evaluation for seeker purposes. Those are delineated, and then there are unlisted actions that don't fall within those 2 definitions. So they've made a determination that this is an unlisted action. Once the environmental impact statement is done, it's incumbent upon this board to do a full environmental assessment. That full environmental assessment, we've prepared the forms, and you'll note that comports with the full environmental assessment form. Basically, there's some marginal impact that may occur to the land. You're making a determination that there's no impact on any geological features. There's no real impact on surface water. There's no impact on groundwater. This is a municipal system that will be connected to. No environmental impact regarding flooding. No real environmental impact with respect to air. No real environmental impact as respecting plants and animals. No real environmental impact with respect to agricultural resources, aesthetic resources, historical archaeological resources. They check with SHPO, there's no problem there. There's no impact on open space and recreation. No impact on critical environmental areas, none exist there. There is maybe an impact on the noise levels. but you've made that determination that they're minor, moderate, and they're not severe. The noise levels will obviously be the noise of construction. Then you've also made a determination that they'll, and this is kind of not going to really matter, there may be an increase in sewage use, but maybe not, as we have the same facility currently in use. You're making a determination that this is consistent with community plans. The town of Westport has sanctioned this, and that it's consistent with the community character in that it's on our property. It's a nutrition building. It's going to look just like everything else there. So you need today this resolution. By passing this resolution, you're making a determination that there's a negative impact, environmental impact relative to the construction of this thing. You're authorizing Dan Palmer to sign the document that memorializes that there is no negative impact. And I miss anything? I'm going to read it. And of course, the rest of the resolution is we're more specific as to where the money's coming from. So with that being said, this board's determined that we're the lead agency. This is an unlisted action, and there are no adverse environmental impacts.
Thank you, Mr. Skozavala.
It's not really pertinent to this resolution, but what's our plans with the old building? Do we have any?
At this point, I don't think we've really made any. At this point, we do have to clean up the mold. That is a process that I believe has been done. So once the building is emptied, we then can make a determination what it is we want to do with it.
Thank you.
Any other discussion to this? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Morrow is excused. Mr. Harrington?
Yes.
Mr. Maryhill? Mr. Gardner is excused. Mr. Depot?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson is excused. Mr. Monti?
Yes.
Mr. McNally?
Yes.
Mr. Skozavala?
Yes.
Mr. Miga?
Yes.
Mr. Pleady is excused. Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Marnell?
Yes.
Mr. Whitson?
Yes.
Mr. Giordano?
Yes.
Mr. Tyler is excused. Mr. Gilliland?
Yes.
Mr. Preston is excused. The resolution carries.
And I just want to thank everybody for coming to the special meeting. I don't usually do this, but two of these resolutions were sort of time sensitive, and the third one I threw in there because I knew you'd be here. The one on the local law.
Any further resolutions from the floor? Mrs.
Not
Skozavala?
a resolution, but I know the state has a budget now. Is there anybody have any updates on the governor's proposal for the shared services between counties and towns?
It's in there.
It is, it stayed in?
It's in, but it's a watered-down version.
Yeah.
Essentially, it no longer requires a bond resolution. It does provide that we're supposed to have, the county manager and county execs and county administrators are supposed to reach out to schools and towns and set up committees that meet and discuss and come up with a plan. And the plan is supposedly submitted to this board for consideration. There is 3 public hearing requirements within that. What I do not know is if there's any penalty for, number 1, if you don't come up with something, and number 2, I don't know specifically how these things are going to get enacted, if in fact what you propose requires statutory changes on the state level, because from my view, there were no statutory changes that were allowed for some of these kinds of consolidations that we've talked about on a regular basis. Currently, the way they are, the way the state rules or laws are, we couldn't enact them even if we wanted to. So I don't know the impact of this. I do know it sounds like somebody from the state is asking the county managers of this county to perform additional work for the benefit of the state, I guess.
And just going through a dissolution consolidation, the state preaches, we want consolidation. The districts, we want consolidation. The services and so on, but yet give you, as you said, first and foremost, the statutes make it extremely difficult, if not impossible to do. in many cases, and in the county, I mean, I've been around a long time, we pretty much share services, virtually, the tune of, if you added it all up, millions and millions of dollars with localities, and now it's my understanding with the towns that you can't go back and claim any credit for them. I mean, we can give
You can't, no.
tons of examples from...
Yeah, you can't. You can't claim any previous credit. It's got to be new. Again, I think what's more disconcerting to me is the time frame associated with this. I mean, they're talking about August. I got to tell you that, the governor's people haven't looked at my agenda. It really does not fit in, to be honest. So I don't know specifically how that's going to play out, but we'll do the best we can. We'll make a proposal and we'll try to reach the parties the way we're supposed to, I guess, but I don't know the impact.
So the public hearings would have to be countywide? So this would have to be a shared service between all 18 towns and Essex County, or every school district in Essex County?
It sounds like to me that you could come up with individual
for each community?
It sounds like to me that as long as it's between the county and towns, schools, villages, that's essentially where it's talking about. I mean, also you're talking about, fire districts and those kinds of things as well.
I mean, the solid waste system is a huge example, which saves... I know it.
Is there a dollar amount associated with this, or a number of projects, or how's it calculated?
I don't know that at this point. I don't think there's a dollar amount associated.
With this EMS, this EMS
There you go.
sharing could be a very large dollar amount.
It could be, but I guarantee you...
We're not sure what that says just yet.
Right, but that possibly could be.
And you know what, that may be a really good thing to consider, but I guarantee you can't have it together by August.
No. Central collection of taxes,
One of the problems in our town is we've been working for a number of years on a combined school-town garage, put it together so we can actually consolidate and share services and things. I can tell you that there is an absolute lack of original thinking or new thinking down within the state bureaucracies, because they can't get over the idea that one entity owns it, the other pays rent to use it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to go back to taxpayers and say, okay, because we're building it on school land, the school's going to own it, and the town's going to pay rent to use it, when we're providing all the services to the school. I mean, at the higher level, these are great ideas, but when you get into the bureaucracy and stuff, they're binary on-off. They're not.
So what are the consequences if the county doesn't come up?
That's the question that everybody, I'm obviously in on the county managers and county execs email list, and that's the question that everybody's got.
Right.
What is the penalties if if we're not able to comply or we don't come up with a plan? Nobody seems to have the answer to that. I'm hoping NICEAG comes up with something that gives us better direction. The interesting thing that one of the things Sean just talked about was a consolidation in the town itself. From my understanding, that wouldn't count because it doesn't operate out of the county.
Right.
This whole thing has to start out of the county and be something that way, but I don't know.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Just because we're on the budget topic, I was curious if the county manager had any first blush idea about the tuition for New York State colleges, if the possibility could exist that our savings as a host community or host county could go down for North Country Community College from the implications, or do you have any idea what this really means?
I don't really have a good idea what this really means because, ultimately, I don't know where he's going to get the money from. I don't know specifically whether he's going to start saying that, that some of the chargeback money that we receive all of a sudden disappears. I don't know again, I don't know the plan as to how he's going to pay it.
Just like anything well thought out.
Mr. McNally.
Yeah, I'd like to get back to that Bass-Hatfield litigation. I'd like to thank Mr. Manning and Mr. Garrow and Mr. Dugan for all the work they did to get this resolved and finally put to bed. I'm sure there was a lot of work involved with it.
Chris and Jim did do a lot of work in the initial stages of the discovery, just the beginning, to get things together, so they do deserve a lot of credit.
We appreciate it. It's finally to bed.
Anything else come before this board? Mr. Harrington?
In regards to shared services, I do believe that Essex County and the town of Crown Point will have a generous amount of shared services involved with the fish hatchery. So we'll be looking forward to that.
You don't start it before this thing comes.
Well, a lot of the shared service, because of for North Hudson or Minerva and Newcomb, it's very hard because we're so far from the county.
Well, I think that, again, I just don't think the state realizes that how much counties and towns already do these things. The concept that property tax on the county level is just too high and that's what's causing all the problems is really short-sighted. I think that if you actually went into most counties, you would find that most of them attempt every consolidation that they can. It's been happening for the last 5 years, and I don't think this initiative is going to change that much.
Anything else come forward?